episode 1 of this bad boy, where we're working on an Australian Ford with a European engine.
You might be asking, why European engine? Now, me with my Falcon sort of authority on YouTube, I am basically the king around these parts. Basically, you might think this is a Barra or a Boss or a Coyote, but no, we're working on a P-Plater spec 4-cylinder turbo. Now, these came out between the years of, I think, 9 and 11 in the G6E right here, and these things are absolutely mint. But this one here is blown.
Not so mint.
Not so mint.
Not so mint. So what the plan is to say thank you to Ash, who's currently holding the camera and does all of our editing for us. So make sure to jump in the comment section and say thank you for all the editing and the sound, the lighting, and everything else he does for us. But for us to say thank you, we're going to be dumping this one out, and we're going to be putting a Mustang Ecoboost in there.
Yeah, you said too, Jeff.
Whoops. To Jay-Z! Yeah, no, we are not going to Jay-Z, but we are going to the Mustang Ecoboost. So it's same, big block. We go, is it 2.3? Yeah, so going with the 2.3 Mustang engine. Had to clarify that because it's not Japanese.
Because what are they from factory?
These are a 2 litre.
2 litre from factory.
Right? 2 litre from factory, same as what came out in the Focus STs. So great little engine until it drops a cylinder. So we're going to pull that out. I think Ash is going to take the engine home and do like a bit of a time-lapse episode for you guys as well, where we try and diagnose what actually failed in this and why it's here in our shop today. So with that, we're going to get started. We're going to rip it out and see if we can even get some enough time today to dummy fit in the new Mustang engine. Doesn't want to play ball. This stupid clamp is right in my way for actually trying to get a grab a hold of it and twist it. I can't.
Give it the old dick twist.
Just twist it.
Oh my god. Oh, dick twist!
What would the world be without
Dick twist.
twist it? That could have been dangerous. Oh dear, what he just spoke to me.
Spoken? It's a Japanese term, isn't it?
I have no idea.
You should know, being a Japanese car enthusiast.
Do I look Japanese to you? Well, I got the word Otaku and an extended view of the RB26. Speaking of which, buy our merch
plug.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
There's no foothold.
Do you want love and to be fed? Well, help me plug our merchandise, boy. Come here. That was your cue. Thanks. That's it. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. How could you deny that happy, goofy face? Hey, now that I've got your attention, you jump on www.otakugarage.com and you /merchandise. You too could own one of these t-shirts. Like that. Yeah, no, I don't speak Japanese. I don't pretend to speak Japanese. I just like their cars. I think they build good cars.
I know. Yeah, in that wonderful area, you'll make it big stretch. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, Jesus. So this is the fun bit where coolant comes out.
Something like that. Or chunks of engine.
Yeah. Either way, it'd be pretty cool.
Either way, I probably wouldn't stand there. You're in the splash zone. Every time I think it's on the last thread. Not a drop on my fingertips. Clean.
When do we see the chunks come out?
That's if there is chunks.
Oh.
What are you looking at?
I love this shade of bronze right here. As you guys can see, we're going to be using today Penrite 10W50. It's going to be a lot of fun on my face right here. Gets under it. Oh yeah. Does that look like the right tool for the job? Whoa.
That one will be easier. You know why it's curved at the back?
So
when,
then you
when
can
you're
flip it up
pushing
on
down
the-
here,
Yeah.
the torque causes it to twist weird. So being able to do it here gives you way more flexibility of actual where you're putting the torque onto it without it trying to roll the
You heard
socket
it here
off.
first, guys.
Heard it here first.
That's exactly right. All of you guys just thought it was
Curved for his pleasure.
You guys
Pleasure of undoing bolts.
just all thought it was just for looks, but no, there's an actual use to it.
Because every time he does the bolts,
Because every time he undoes a bolt, every time he undoes a bolt. Well, arguably, it's actually working here.
arguably. Ah, so that's what it's designed to do.
To move around the line. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
great.
Alrighty, we're getting there, bit by bit, working it out as we go along. So pretty much every accessory is unbolted from the car now. We're just gonna take out this bird's nest of heater hoses out from underneath in a moment. Starter motors and the bell housing is about the last thing we need to undo before undoing engine mounts and pulling it out of the car. Nearly there, nearly there. Eee.
Hold it steady, son.
I got a big one! Wait, point it here. There, no, there, no, there, there! I said point it there!
Sorry, Dad. I apologize.
Just give it here, dickhead.
I'm sorry.
Bloody useless, you're not my kid, are you?
No, but honestly, where do you want it? You want it right there? Does it have a third mode? Oh, yeah, it does.
That's why it's tight. We've unbolted the compressor. Now the compressor's sitting on that charge
Yeah,
port.
that's what I saw before as well.
Yeah, thanks, son. Why didn't you say anything?
Because I was holding the torch. What does that do? Why does that exist, that pipe? What does it do? Is that the cooler piping?
Air goes into the turbo.
Yeah.
Spinning around the turbo. Goes through here.
Oh, I think that's what that pipe's called.
Out there. Well, actually, it's actually the other way. It goes through here and into the
Yeah,
throttle
see?
body.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, you should have told me that. You should have corrected me. You know everything about Falcons, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh no!
See, I would have known that oil was going to come out there.
No! Just put it all over my boots.
Why is there oil in there?
That's usually from turbo or from blow-by, because the breathers for the rocker cover will go back into here, and if it's breathing heavy, because you've lost compression on possibly one or two cylinders, it's going to push the oil past the rings and end up being blow-by.
Does it mean I need an ATP catch can?
Absolutely it does. And it means we probably have to prototype one for the Falcon.
Where do I get one?
Typegarage.com.au.
Not for the Falcon. We will make that later.
We'll definitely prototype it. We'll get Adam out and we'll see what we can prototype. But
Falcons actually don't have a baffle catch can for sale at all.
yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You heard it
we're not
first.
releasing this until the prototype's made, so we could be the first. Patent that shit.
It's like back off my old sponsors.
A whole forest in the process. The amount of paper you can produce from it. More and more and more coolant down my armpit.
Yes.
Cannot wait for a shower. Even putting the rag on there, it's just soaked through the rag and then started running down my arm anyway. Why you got so much coolant?
We've created a very nice concoction down here of oil and coolants.
The floor's relatively clean.
Jack's gonna be angry on me.
You will be very angry. Sorry, Jack.
Jack does a pretty good job of keeping the floor clean. Alrighty, well, it's a new day and we're back working on the Falcon again. So now that the engine is out of the Falcon and we've got the Mustang engine beside us, time to tear this one down and then we can work out what differences there are between the two engines, what is the same between the two engines, and then we can work out what can be used, what can be swapped over to get this one where this one used to be. What's different between the two? We'll start off by getting rid of all this spaghetti being the engine harness so we can actually see a bit more on the mechanical components, and then from there we'll sort of strip down this engine to match that one and yeah, compare the two. On this one you can see that you got two that are level and then one down here, but on the Falcon one the triangle's this way, not that way. Oh, hello Vinny. Hello. Come to check it out, see what's going on. We doing a good job? What's that, Vinny? The concern from him just then. One thing I noticed is this bracket actually bolts on to the engine mount. So the two front ones will be the same, but this rear one here actually needs this engine mount to hold it. So I don't know if it's going to fit in here while that engine mount's on, which doesn't look like it will. So I'm going to take this engine mount off now and we'll probably swap it out with that engine mount and make sure they swap over comfortably, which shouldn't be a big deal, but you never know. We're working this out as we go along. Voila. we have converted to a Falcon AC and engine mount. The AC compressor that's still sitting in the engine bay will bolt straight onto there, we put a belt on and off it goes again. Now, next thing to look at is the oil filter housing. This obviously came out of a manual because it doesn't have any of the water lines coming out of it that originally went to the transcooler. But this actual plate looks to be identical, so I'm about to take this off. We'll swap it over between the two engines and see if the filter housing from the Falcon will fit it. My guess is one of these is oil in, the other one's oil out. This could be oil pressure relief built into this one, and that's why it's got that extra hole. We'll have to do some reading and research. The bolt patterns are the same, but on the Falcon it uses this gasket, but it doesn't have the third oil hole in it, and this one has a recessed O-ring into it. So looks like we'll keep this housing bolted onto the Mustang engine, and when it comes to the transcooler, we'll reroute some heater hoses and mount it in a different way. This one is from the Falcon, so this lived in the car like that. This went up to either that fitting or that fitting. And obviously it runs a factory water oil cooler, and then this plumbed down and went to the transmission cooler, and then out of the transmission cooler it come back up. So with this not having these two sensors in it and only having the oil light sensor for the dash, we're probably not going to use it. It doesn't have that third port that this one has in the housing, so we're going to have to do a bit of research just in case this needs to be swapped out. Exactly what this is doing, in, out, pressure relief, etc. Worst case, we just replumb these hoses to go straight to the transmission cooler and back again, and that's problem solved. And if we're seeing any issues with oil temperature, we can then always put an external oil cooler at the front of the car, which will be more efficient than this anyway. Good news is the idler pulley ends up in the same spot, and again, all the bolt holes are the same between the two. I should have taken the the turbo drain off and put it on there, but again, we'd test fit up the turbo and see if that oil drain is going to even be usable, or if we have to use a different oil drain. But for now, we've still got the cutout in the right spot for the turbo drain. And the box behind me down there is the new upgraded turbo for a Mustang from Ford. So yeah. Oh, that's so disappointing. That's better. Just squeezing one, it like goes into another, like they're actually connected. So you try and squeeze it to pop it, just goes into a different chamber. I have to squeeze enough of them that it just pops one. No fun, Ford. Get different bubble wrap. Be perfect for my cosplay. Well, hello, Vinny. Come back when it's interesting again, do you? Hey? Ooh, spicy. Spicy. Just for test fitting purposes. Fits in there nicely. Alrighty, well that brings us to the end of another episode. As you can see, we made a fair bit of progress on swapping stuff over. Thankfully, between the differences of the two engines, they actually swap over a lot of parts. The concerns that we've raised in coming up with it is the research that we've done so far is the plugs on the loom that come off of this don't actually match the Falcon, and they don't match the Mustang ECU either. So there's going to be a little bit of research that needs to be done. Maybe we'll throw some photos up and you can hopefully tell us where those plugs come from and what ECU we might need for this engine. And then the only other difference is slight differences in the sump. They're both a rear sump, but the shape of the rear sump's a little bit different. So next step for us is really just, we'll sling the chain on, drop the engine in, and if the sump clashes with the Falcon cross member, the bolt patterns are actually the same. So we'll pull all the timing case off, swap sumps around if we have to and do that, but pretty sure we'll get away with using the Mustang sump on this. We appreciate you watching this episode. We know it's not an S15, we know it's not an RB26, and you're probably confused. We are working on that in the background. We've got heaps of content coming from that. We're just trying to get ourselves a little bit ahead with it. And hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll have some more episodes out on that for you guys, and we can go back to enjoying more JDM goodness. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this episode with the Ford. We do have a lot of other cars that we're going to be releasing footage on as well. Some of you already spotted a few of them in the background. We've got the little TA22 Celica. We've got a 240, Volvo 240 with a 1JZ conversion. And then we've got all my projects that we haven't even brought up or mentioned yet. So in the future, you will see more content. But for now, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. I love the comments down below. I've been really enjoying your feedback. It's been super positive and really encouraging. So thank you again. We'll see you at the next episode. This bad boy, you want to purchase it?
Welcome to our Japanese YouTube channel. What are you doing, Sam? What are you doing, Sam? This is the funniest clip. Can't wait till you see this.
It's for his pleasure.
Can I undo it like that?
You'll have a hard time.
I don't have any friends.
That's another written warning, Zach. Blinded boss again.
What did you say, sorry? Fits so much spaghetti in it, it's not funny.
This bad boy has enough room to fit 2 more cylinders in it. I know that's going to end up on a blooper reel now.
I don't think
I didn't capture you, don't worry. I was just looking at the video.
Hey, safe.